Recently, I've been thinking a lot about refuge, and specifically refuge in the Dharma jewel. And so this has come up for me in many contexts. First of all, Venerable Chodron has been teaching Following the Buddhist Footsteps, Volume 4. And this is all about the Dharma jewel, so the three higher trainings, talking about ethics, concentration, which is she's unpacking right now, and also wisdom. And I've been thinking about this in terms of how we have to really become our own refuge. In Liberation in the Palm of Your Hand, Llama Oparimpache says this, which is really striking. If we don't keep advice that accompanies taking refuge, then there is nothing that the three jewels can do for us. Really putting the responsibility on our own practice, in that, yes, it's wonderful to take refuge externally. And we do that. We recite prayers, I take refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha. But when we really need help in our life, when our mind is overwhelmed by afflictions, when we're caught up in negative habits that bring suffering to ourselves and others, it's only us. Only we can change our behavior, change how we're thinking. And the other reason this refuge has come up is because it's the topic I've been working through in this book, Lamrim Year, Making Life Meaningful Day by Day, by Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And it's a book that has been on the shelf. We send many books to incarcerated people all over the country, and this is one of the books that has been on the shelf that we send to them. And so many months ago, I thought, I'm gonna read that. And a little bit of an aside, I really love it because it is very symmetrical. So what I mean is that every page is a topic, and there's a quote, there's 3 paragraphs, exactly 3 paragraphs, and 3 points about that topic. So they're really nice little snippets of teachings. And so one paragraph really stood out to me, and it's something that I've been thinking about. And I'm sure it's come up in teachings before, but you know how there's someone says something or you read something that really resonates with you? And it was just, I read this, I was like, this is exactly what I think. This is exactly what I think about when I think of refuge. And so this is from Lama Zopa Rinpoche. He says, whatever we do that protects our mind is Dharma. And that, in essence, is taking refuge. Whatever we do that protects our mind is Dharma. And that is taking refuge, right? That is protecting us when we do, a practice to protect our mind. So he says, when we cut through our confusion by meditating on impermanence and death, we are taking refuge. When we lessen our attachment by meditating on its shortcomings and on the problems brought on by the 8 worldly dharmas, we are taking refuge. Developing compassion and loving kindness, moving the mind towards the altruistic attitude of bodhicitta, is taking refuge. Studying and meditating on emptiness is taking refuge. And what stands out to me about this is that this puts the responsibility on me, right? The Buddha's already done all of those things. It's me that hasn't done all of those things. And so this gets into this thing about the external refuge and the internal one. Really, we're the only ones who knows if we're taking refuge in our heart, in our daily life. And I've been thinking about, so how am I protecting myself right now? How am I protecting my mind? And one thing that I've been doing in my own practice, which has been extremely valuable and something that I really have come to because of necessity, seeing these strong afflictions that come up repeatedly. Is every day I've been looking at the disadvantages of attachment and anger. And looking at, okay, when have I been attached today? When has attachment come up in my daily life? Really make it specific and personal. And what was the result of that? Or it's a pattern. What is the result of being attached to this thing? Is this bringing me really what I want? And then also looking at anger. And every day I will say, I find something that I got irritated at or annoyed at or angry at. And so to really look and sit with, well, what are the disadvantages of this? Am I getting what I want by being angry? No. Am I happier because I'm angry? No, absolutely not. Am I able to benefit others more effectively? And then to really work on these mental states every day in my practice, and just see what's going on here. And we're told again and again and again, Venerable Chodron, Venerable Kadro repeatedly tell us we need to make the Dharma personal. We need to bring it into our life. But I feel like I'm only now really starting to do that in the sense of figuring out what to meditate on by what happened that day. How can I make what's going on in my life relevant? And how can I then work with it on the cushion? And if really I'm not working on my afflictions on the cushion, when am I working on them? And if I'm doing some sort of practice in a very rote way, but it's not impacting my heart, what's the purpose of that? Is it really going to protect me? And I can tell you from my experience, no, it doesn't protect me. But looking at my own experience, when I'm attached, when I'm angry, when I'm jealous, when I'm arrogant, that really helps. And I was also thinking about, of course, as we all are, concerned about the state of the world, the state of our country. And it came up about what is danger or what is dangerous? Is it what's happening externally that's really dangerous? That's potentially causing harm and suffering? Or is what's really dangerous what I'm not doing about my afflicted mind and my negative behaviors, my non-virtue that I'm engaged in on a daily basis? Is that really what's more dangerous? And also, what is safety? What does it mean to be safe, to be protected? And how do I create safety for myself and others? Am I trying to create safety by retaliating? And maybe on a personal level, that means, am I saying something quick and in a sort of irritated tone, trying to defend myself? Maybe it's just verbally or even through my body language or facial expressions. Am I hiding from what I think is the cause of my suffering? Am I just running away? Am I running into distractions and things that are not so meaningful? Am I not really addressing what is causing suffering? And so with this idea, with this taking refuge in the Dharma, of course, there's the actual Dharma refuge, right? The actual cessations and paths that are achieved higher up on the path. The Buddha has really attained refuge, right? The Dharma refuge. But we take refuge in the Dharma step by step, in our own way, every day. And we do that really by reducing and eliminating the causes of danger in our life. Mainly, we are reducing and trying to eliminate negative ways of acting that harm ourselves and others. And in order to stop harming others, we have to really work on subduing and eventually eliminating the negative states of mind that propel, that motivate those actions. And so we've been hearing this by Geshe Topke, teaching Precious Garland, really going through these non-virtuous actions that bring suffering, and to really get serious about this. This is someone who's been practicing the Dharma for a very long time. And what does he spend an hour on almost every teaching? It's don't harm. Don't harm and benefit others. Don't create the causes for your own misery, right? This is initial scope practice, observing the law of karma and its effects and working with our minds. And so really, whatever we can do internally on a day-to-day basis to reduce our negative states of mind, to reduce the harm we cause to self and others, that is what is really creating real safety for ourselves and others.